Question number 116. Read the given statements and select the correct option. Statement A. Photorespiration does not produce ATP or NADH and is a wasteful process. Statement B. Decarboxylation is the primary step of Calvin's cycle. First option only A is correct. Second only B is correct. Third both A and B are correct. Fourth both A and B are incorrect. Photorespiration does not produce ATP or NADH and is a wasteful process. This is correct. Decarboxylation is the primary step of Calvin's cycle. No, it is the carboxylation which is the primary step of Calvin's cycle, followed by reduction and regeneration of RuBP. So these are three important steps of Calvin's cycle. So this statement is wrong. So only A is correct. So the correct option for the given question is option number 1. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 117. In photosynthesis, CO2 or carbon dioxide, first option is not a limiting factor influencing the rate of photosynthesis. Second, has different saturation concentrations for C3 and C4 plants at a higher light intensity. Third, is required at very low concentration for C3 plants to obtain higher yields. Fourth, has fertilization effect on C4 plants. Carbon dioxide during photosynthesis, it's a major limiting factor. So carbon dioxide is a major limiting factor which influences the rate of photosynthesis. So this option is ruled out. Third option, is required at very low concentration for C3 plants to obtain higher yields. No, C3 plants have higher saturation concentration of CO2, so they can have more CO2 consumption to obtain higher yields. So this option is ruled out. Fourth, has fertilization effect on C4 plants. No, the fertilization effect can be seen on C3 plants. So what is fertilization effect? By increasing the concentration of CO2, we can increase the yield of C3 plants. This is called CO2 fertilization effect, which is seen in C3 plants only, not in C4 plants. So this option is also ruled out. Second one, has different saturation concentration for C3 and the C4 plants at higher light intensity. This is very correct. For C3 plants, the saturation concentration of CO2 is 450 microliter per liter, and for C4 plants it is 360 microliter per liter. So both C3 and the C4 plants have different saturation concentration of CO2 at higher light intensity. So the correct option for the given question is option number 2. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 118. First, action spectrum of photosynthesis was described by using alga. First option, chlorella. Second, spirogyra. Third, cladophora. Fourth, chlamydomonas. The first action spectrum of photosynthesis was described by T.W. Engelmann, and he used an alga called cladophora. So cladophora is a green alga which was used by T.W. Engelmann for his experiments, and he described the first action spectrum of photosynthesis. So the correct option for the given question is option number 3. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 119. As compared to maize plant, how many lesser ATP molecules are needed for production of one glucose molecule by wheat plant? First option 2, second 0, third 12, fourth 6. So maize plant is a C4 plant and wheat plant is a C3 plant. So you have to find out that how many lesser ATP molecules are needed for production of one glucose molecule by a C3 plant as compared to a C4 plant. So a C4 plant such as maize requires 5 ATP to fix a molecule of carbon dioxide, whereas a C3 plant such as wheat requires 3 ATP to fix a single molecule of carbon dioxide. Now, to produce a glucose molecule, glucose is a 6-carbon compound which involves fixation of 6 CO2 molecules. So, to fix 6 CO2 molecules, it should be 5 into 6, that is 30 ATPs are required to produce a glucose molecule. And here, 6 CO2 molecules, it should be 3 into 6, that is 18 ATP molecules. So how many lesser ATP molecules are required by a C3 plant? 30 minus 18 ATP, that is 12 ATP molecules. So the correct option for the given question is option number 3. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 120. Select the incorrect statement. First option, glycolysis occurs in cytoplasm of all the organisms. Second, enzymes of Krebs cycle are present in the mitochondrial matrix. Third, oxidative phosphorylation takes place in outer mitochondrial membrane. Fourth, through link reaction, pyruvate enters into aerobic respiratory pathway. So, which statement is incorrect? Glycolysis occurs in cytoplasm of all the organisms. Yes, it is true. It's a common step between the aerobic and the anaerobic respiration, and it takes place in all the organisms. So, it is true. Second, enzymes of Krebs cycle are present in the mitochondrial matrix. It is also true that the enzymes of TCA cycle or the Krebs cycle are present in the mitochondrial matrix. Fourth, through link reaction, pyruvate enters into aerobic respiratory pathway. Yes, it is the transition reaction. It is the link reaction through which pyruvate enters into the aerobic pathway. See the third one, the oxidative phosphorylation. The ATP production through oxidation of food takes place in the outer mitochondrial membrane. No, it takes place in the inner mitochondrial membrane, not in the outer mitochondrial membrane. So the incorrect statement is the third one. So the correct option for the given question is option number 3. Let's move on to the next question.